welcome. So part of science, one of the biggest parts of science is learning to observe and examine the world around us. So one of the ways that scientists do that, and one of the tools that we use most often, is called a microscope. Most of you are probably familiar with that. But as you know, microscopes are pretty expensive. They're expensive to buy, they're expensive to fix, they're kind of complicated to use depending on what kind you get. So what we're going to do today is we're going to build a simple homemade microscope that you can use your cell phone to get items from your house or from outside and look at stuff, examine it, observe it, and learn more about the world around you. So it's a pretty simple setup. To begin, you're going to need to get some plywood. We will have a list of these supplies, by the way, on this video for you to refer to later. But you'll need a piece of plywood cut in a 7-inch by 7-inch square, 3 carriage bolts that just have the round heads on them there, various nuts, several nuts, some washers, some wing nuts. The wing nuts are the ones that have the little levers on the side so that you can twist them. Some plexiglass. You're going to need at least 2 pieces of plexiglass. One of them is going to be cut in a 7 by 7 inch square piece that is going to fit over top of your microscope stand here. The second one is going to be cut in a smaller piece. It is 7 by 3 inches, and that is going to be a specimen stand. So to put the microscope together, you're going to drill some holes, 3 of them in the bottom of your plywood. You're going to put your carriage bolts through, attach a couple washers and some nuts to secure those bolts so that they don't move anywhere. Put your 2 wing nuts on the 2 bolts in the front. Take your specimen stand. Once it's been drilled, you're going to drill 2 holes in it right here. Put the wing nuts on there. Those are going to support your specimen stand, in addition to a couple washers that go below it. Once you get the specimen stand on there, you're going to put 2 of your nuts on all of the bolts, all 3 of them. You're going to, oh, one more thing, forgot to tell you the most important thing. For your larger piece of plexiglass, you're going to need to drill 3 holes in it, 1 for each one of the carriage bolts that you have on your microscope stand. In addition to that, you're going to need to go and pick up one of the laser pointers that you can use either for presentations that you might give for school or for work, or also the laser pointers that you might use to play with your cat. They're the ones that just put the little dot of light on the wall. They occupy your cat, they occupy me. They're super fun. In the tip of those laser pointers, there is a lens. It's a focusing lens that is used to focus that beam of light that you use in the laser pointer. If you remove the tip of your laser pointer, you can actually remove that lens, drill a hole in the center between these 2 bolts right here where they're going to go, and you can insert the lens into the piece of plexiglass. And that is the magnifying lens that we're going to use to take a look at the different specimens that we have. All right, so once you've got everything drilled and all in alignment on there, you're going to put that camera stand on top. Put your bolts on so that it doesn't move around on you. All right. If you have any extra pieces of plexiglass left over, you can also make microscope slides, which are nice for putting specimens on. So I have a microscope slide pre-made here. It's got a piece of Elodea leaf, which is a floating aquatic plant that we're going to take a look at. One other item that is useful to have, you may not use it for all the specimens that you have, but any kind of an LED light. So oftentimes when we have samples that are darker or thicker, if we shine a light up through the bottom of it, we can see more detail in the specimen that we're looking at. So we will put that right under here so that it's kind of underneath our focusing lens there. Get your cell phone, any kind of a cell phone that's got a decent camera on it works. And let's see, this is not quite level, so I'm just going to adjust the bolts a little bit so that our platform is a little more level. You can use a level as well. Thank you. Perfect. Not so perfect. Close enough. All right. So once you get the camera stage level, you're going to just line up your camera so that it's over that. You turn on the camera, you're going to line it up so that it's over top of the lens, and you'll kind of be able to tell because it gets a little blurry as we go over top of that. And then you can put whatever specimen you want underneath. Okay, and for this one, this LED leaf, we're going to go ahead and use the light to shine underneath it. So the nice thing about these wing nuts, and the purpose of the wing nuts on here, is that you can adjust the level at which your specimen stand is sitting so that you can kind of get your specimen in focus. So we're just lifting that up there. And I don't know if you can kind of see that. You can see the actual detail of the cells in the LED leaf. So most cell phones, in addition to having just the camera on there, have a function where you can zoom in. So if we take our camera now, and we zoom in, we can get more detail for that leaf. If you want to get more magnification with your microscope, you can also use 2 of those focusing lenses, and that will increase the magnification of the microscope that you can look at your specimens with. This plexiglass is a little bit too thin to put 2 lenses in. I haven't tried it using a separate piece of plexiglass underneath there with a second lens, but that's a possibility too if you can't find a second piece of plexiglass that's thicker. So that's the LED leaf. Let's take a look at a feather. So for the feather, we'll take the light out. You can see the detail of the feather, the individual pieces that are making up the feather, and we can zoom in on that as well. So there's a feather. And then something everyday item like a quarter. Let's see if we can get that to focus a little bit better. There we go. So you can see the little details of the edge of the quarter there. You can see the scratches. You can zoom in on that. See the detail of how the metal has been shaped.